Hello, YouTube. It's Lisa Stade here of the Lisa Stade and Hitler Obsessed YouTube channels. I am here doing part 4 of 1997's movie by Martin Scorcesese on Kundun that is about the life and times and exile of the 14th Dalai Lama, Tenzin Gyatso. So, where we left off, we're now beginning with the 14th Dalai Lama. They found Martin Rinpoche and brought him back. During a bunch of some of the debates of the 14th Dalai Lama there. And Martin Rinpoche is imprisoned at the Potala, like I said before in the previous video before this one. And the 14th Dalai Lama, Tenzin Gyatso, decides to hold a council of important government officials, which is called the can't remember the name of it, but it's a little committee there where the Dalai Lama sits and he shows his officials, and they're talking about Martin Rinpoche, what to do with him. And they eventually tell him that he's in prison. It's like, there's a prison? The Patala? Because eventually, and early in the movie, the Dalai Lama does find out that they're all prisoners in Tibet there at the Summer Palace. There's another scene of him finding his famous telescopes that will be like almost like pretty much what Sexy Speaker is as a character to Dank Pod. So this is his telescope he likes to watch and keep an watch the lives of his subjects, as compassionate as a Buddha, And he eventually sees people, having their daily lives, and the prisoners that are watched and let out, just go around begging for food or alms or whatever, because that's how they would, except they'd have them chained, and keep an eye on them. So, just to have them get by and get their food, whatever they need there. Or the prisoners in the Tibetan prisons there. So there's another scene of the 14th Dalai Lama driving a car and actually crashing the car, which is just fun. Brings back, I guess, anyone that has ever driven in a car, hopefully you have not crashed your family's car, for the love of God, please. But then there's another scene of him, a 14th Dalai Lama, and a bunch of monks going through some old stuff that the other Dalai Lamas, the 14th Dalai Lama, had in a storage room in the Summer Palace, which they find a bunch of movies there. And there's another scene in the movie of the 14th Dalai Lama watching a bunch of newsreels on a movie projector there. He actually does have a movie theater built in the Summer Palace there. This is referenced from even 7 Years in Tibet, the movie. I will probably make a movie about that sometime in the future. And he does see through Time magazine some references to the atomic bomb dropping of Hiroshima and Nagasaki at the end of World War II, and about the Nazis, which I guess is the real pooch, or whatever picture they show of Hitler. You'll probably recognize this if you see the movie. It's actually for free here on YouTube. If you want to watch it, go right ahead. Want to watch it, see all the plot point before you see all these spoilers on these videos. So you have so the Dalai Lama also in another scene of scene in Atlas and wondering about Tibet, the size of Tibet's army versus China, and America, and he ends up writing also a letter to FDR, President FDR of World War II, or I guess it's Neville Chamberlain or whatever, some government official. It's not Hitler. It's not Hitler, thank goodness. That sounds like Gandhi's Hitler movie. That was interesting. The film I have not watched that. I've heard the title. I've heard the story about the background to that film. But back to what I was telling about the government council. And and eventually, the Dalai Lama asks about if there's Chinese people in Tibet, and the government council tells him, yes, there are Chinese in Tibet. And the Dalai Lama says, why not have them all exiled from Tibet, have them forced to leave? And so they allow that to happen, have them all leave, have all the Chinese have to be forced out to go back to China since, he doesn't want to have this invasion torn up, so I get of Tibet, but I have a good feeling that would have just made Mao Zedong happy as ever, because that would have just been propaganda, just wet dreams, so. Yeah, next scene is of the 14th Dalai Lama's father dying, and of him praying for his father's body, and the sky burial, which is of the feeding of his dad's body that all Tibetans go through to hopefully give the body to other living creatures so they can survive as a last act of good merit to get a good life, which is where people of one of the societal castes or groupings there that are in charge of preparing the sky burials will take the body, cut it up, and feed it to the vultures. This the circle of life. And then don't shut this channel down, Disney, please, for the love of God. But so the next scene is of a bunch of festivities of Tibetan dance and theater and opera, and then the Dalai Lama does find out that China has invaded Tibet, and they cut to the scene of the invading army of China and of this Chinese communist propaganda, I guess, music or whatever, marching song, praising Chalamel, of a portrait of him, the Chinese army, and the army trucks, just, I guess, running, not marching, but running through Tibet like this. This is gonna be fast and swift. We're running miles for a dictator that will most likely kill us in the was it the thousand flowers or the cultural revolution there, destroy the full earth and bring the full news. All my wonderful history classes coming back to me from Professor McNee. Yay. The next scene is of the 14th Dalai Lama deciding to become the Dalai Lama, go through his final coronation to become stated as the 14th Dalai Lama and take control of the Tibetan government and the religious government of Tibet, pretty much like the Tibetan Buddhism version of what the Pope is to the Catholic Church in the Vatican. So they go through a ceremony of that, and they have him led to a bunch of corridors in the Potsdam Palace, to a main big temple there that has a big statue of the four-armed version, I guess, four-armed statue of Avalokitesvara, which is the Buddha of compassion there, and they bring out all that different stuff there that is the items for the Buddha, for the Dalai Lama to hold and pass on through a ceremony, which is, and he also is wearing the the hat that the Dalai Lama wears there, as it's pretty much like his crown, but it's kind of like, the Tibetan Lamas of the the Gelugpa, the yellow hat branch of Tibetan Buddhism, of Lamism, and eventually there's that scene there, and then he instates appoints, I guess, pretty much appoints a couple of officials as his officials and ambassadors to send letters to India, England, and America to help Tibet in their time of need, to keep the sovereign existence and independence from the Chinese communists that are now in Tibet and pretty much taking over and effing everything up for everyone, making it just terrible and making sure to violate all the human rights violations. I hope this video does not get struck down. This is just a review of the movie Kundun. YouTube. I have nothing against China. This is nothing about the COVID or anything. So I don't get your panties in it all, please. About this, eventually they find out that England and America doesn't want to help because they got the problems of their own, pretty much, at the time, which is after World War II and the Cold War, which is interesting because that has to do with the communists, but in this case it's Soviet Union, then China, though. So eventually, the Dalai Lama decides to go to another important Buddhist monastery to meet some Chinese officials, which they have another Chinese general from the Communist Party there and his attendants or adjutants there and other ranking officials of the Chinese Communist Army drive to this monastery to meet the Dalai Lama and hand him this was the 14-point agreement for the Dalai Lama to sign and pretty much just fork over everything to the Chinese communists and pretty much put his life at mercy at them. Uh, and this guy's trying to praise Chairman Mao and saying, he's the savior and blah de blah de blah. We're just trying to help the Chinese, blah de blah de blah. Just the globals that he is. I know that's a Nazi reference, but pretty much the same, almost the same ideology. Maybe. They did do a lot of worse crimes against humanity than the Nazis. That's what the communists did. That's a bit of true history. I hope that would not take this video down. I'm reporting history. I'm not making propaganda. YouTube, So pretty much the Dalai Lama ends up telling Pumbo, as these Chinese officials are leaving the monastery, he says, I thought they would be demons with horns and wings. But they're just like you and I. They're just no different. They're just led wrongly. But they're no different than us. Humans and Tibetans. You and me. Like Hitler's no different from you and me. Except Hitler probably didn't do the stuff that you or me did. He did a lot of horrible things, but he looked human. But Pumbo tells the Dalai Lama, that they're like wolves and ghosts. I mean, these guys are terrible. He's like, you gotta be joking. That's like saying, he's no different from me and you, and Adolf Hitler's no different from us. Even though Adolf Hitler did a lot of horrible things, because I'm gonna just rip the reference that it was just made old and bring it up again. Yay me. But, he's just pretty much saying, bullocks to this thing that you're saying, Kundun. Dalai Lama there. Bullocks to this. That's a load of fooey. But, the Dalai Lama was all about, the middle path and having compassion even towards his enemies. So pretty much turning the other cheek. Trying to deal with them as best they can, even though they kept pounding, beating up and killing and murdering his people. So I'll end part 4 here for you, and let's just start off with part 5 here very soon, YouTube. And I will say like and subscribe to this video, hit the notification bell, become a subscriber, share these videos, leave a comment on any video and this video. You send me a friend request on Facebook or a comment on Facebook and visit my BitChute.com, my BitChute channel. There on BitChute.com of Lisa Marie Stayed. Donate to my Patreon and my subscribe, so it would be very wonderful. And have a good day. Now on to part 5 of this video. Hopefully nothing gets taken down. This is only for education, YouTube. Nothing else. Just a review of a movie, nothing else.